Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Hopefully this is working and you can hear me. Sort of see everything that's going on. Just make sure I'm all connected. Okay, just trying to find myself here, guys. This is my first live, so it's there we go. You can see me. Oh, it's kind of, let me turn the camera around. I think that might be better. Sorry, guys. How is that? It's a little, I'm sideways. Let's get this fixed. I wish I could zoom in. Does anybody know how to zoom in? I'm sideways. Let's get this fixed. I've seen now some people have had issues like this with their video and showing it vertically as opposed to horizontally, and I'm not sure why it's doing that right now. I do apologize, but we'll try and make the best of it. So anyway, let's get started. I am here today to do hopefully we're going to do 3 Christmas Card Lab December day by day. Anyone who's been following me, you've seen that I've been posting over the last couple of weeks what I've done to date. Here's sort of the collection so far. Now this paper collection I do believe has sold out, but I have an extra book I have yet to open. So for my own personal collection, I've been using a different paper collection, which is book 8. But what we're going to do today is work with 2 different paper packs. The first one will be, actually they're mixed together, so I'm not going to say one is first and one is second. But we're working with Christmas Lives Here, and the second one is Christmas Field Notes. So just finishing, I'll just do a quick little kind of flip through, but that's what I've done to date for my own personal card lab collection for December day by day. I chose this year to do the card lab collection only because sometimes I find that the album can be a bit daunting, more time consuming, and I feel it's just, there's a little bit more pressure trying to put one of those together. So this year with the new card lab collection that Esther came out with, it kind of gives a really great option to do something a bit different, smaller scale, but still very creative and fun to work with. So like I said, we're working with 2 paper packs. This is all that I have left from Christmas Lives Here, and then the other larger paper pack that I still have some pieces remaining, of course, is the Christmas Field Notes. So still got a lot of this. I actually have a whole other pack still, so I'm kind of working through this one as well. It's a great paper pack, as well as the Christmas Lives Here. So having said that, for the 3 cards that we'll be creating today, the supplies that I've used are this full bundle here. We've got the CS276 Circles with Sentiments. This one I think came out last Christmas. Again, the one thing that I really want to stress is use what you've got, right? I mean, it's great that, you know, I've been following Elizabeth Craft for years, as I'm sure many of you have been too. And so I may have product that you don't have, or vice versa. I've seen some people post some things with product that I've never seen. And I'm like, oh, where's the black market for Elizabeth Craft products? Or could we do some recalls or special orders? Because there's some definite die cuts that I've seen and I love, and they're long gone. So c'est la vie, right? So this one is the Magical Moments, CSD 381. And then I got 2 more stamp sets here. We have CS 271 Winter Days. Moving on, we have CSD 380 Xmas from the Past. Matching die is included, which is this for this lovely bird here, which you can see at the back. And then, of course, the entire Card Lab collection excluding one of the Card Lab collections. So I've got every single one here. I've got Card Lab 5, 2, should have put these in order, 4. This is the only one I did not use. Oh, I lied. Actually, I did use it. I used this guy here and one of these. So I'm sorry, my bad. Card Lab 6. So I did actually use the entire collection. 3, 1, and then this one is a classic little one here. Is 2146 Pocket Page Fillers 2. I used this die here as well as some of the tabs. And then I pulled out an oldie but a goodie just for this Christmas tree portion here. You'll see that in the one card. And this one is, 1677 Planner Essentials 16 Christmas Tree page. Now, of course, there's a couple different Christmas trees in the collection. So if you don't have this one, if it's not available, don't stress. There's so many options out there. Again, use what you've got is always what I recommend. And, not to stress over something you don't have, right? Work with what you've got because there's just so many creative ideas within the collections. So here are the 3 cards that I'm hoping we can get through today. So again, you can see the style of them is a little bit different than the other paper pack. Nothing is better or worse than the other. I think they all have some really great vibes to them. So why don't we dig in and we will start creating. I'll start off with this one first. There's nothing overly complicated here. There's no great big secret techniques that I've used. It's just really a matter of building up layers and just having fun with what you have. And I think that's really key. You will see some differences also from when I first did the one sample here to cutting up all the pieces. One of the examples here is I switched the ink. I think it actually really complements the coloring here, as does the black. But as I was going through it, I just thought, hey, you know what? Let's mix it up a little bit. So as you can see, I've done most of the die cutting because otherwise that would be extremely time consuming and probably a little bit boring for you. I'm also going to be winging a lot of this. I'm not going to be measuring everything. I'm just going to go by some visuals and just start putting this together. And of course, depending on the sizing that you prefer is really how it's going to kind of unfold. So I'll try and remove all my scraps. Like I said, I used the red dye on this one, and I do like to do a bit of distressing along the edges. So let's do that quickly. Now, hopefully everyone is having a great day today. It's kind of an exciting day. At least it is for me. I don't know if it is for you and where you are. I mean, the weather here is kind of crappy. It's very wet and cold, and we're being threatened with some wet flurries, which kind of is unfortunate for, the little kitties for Halloween. But, I mean, that's one of the exciting things about today is it's Halloween, which is kind of exciting, which is kind of weird. I feel a bit guilty that we're doing a Christmas card on Halloween, but yeah, that's what we're going to do. But aside from that, it's my best friend's birthday today, so I wish her all the best. We're going to be looking forward to a nice spa day out in Montreal in the summer, spring of next year. What else is exciting today? Well, it's my 8-year anniversary of being breast cancer free, so yay for that. It's kind of pretty darn exciting for me. What else? Oh, there's a game on today, apparently, in Toronto. Not sure if anybody's following that, but there's this baseball team called Blue Jays. And today they could bring the World Series home to Toronto, and they certainly could use it. I personally don't follow the Blue Jays, so please don't hate at me and don't, kind of leave this video because I'm not a sports fan in that regard. But I do wish them all the best because Toronto could really use a bit of a win right now, as many other places. But I think it's been 32 years or 33 years since the Jays have won the World Series. So we're kind of due. No disrespect to the LA Dodgers, but, it'd be kind of nice if we win. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I'm not sure. I can't really see anybody's comments, which is a little bit unfortunate. Oh, I am seeing comments. Oh, thank you, Robin. Thank you, Petra. It's kind of a small club that I don't recommend anybody being in. I know Esther can relate. She's certainly been very vocal about her journey. I have not. There's some of my friends who never knew I went through this in 2017. They just probably wonder why I have natural hair coloring now. But whatever. It was quite a year and stronger for it, and so grateful for life. And this community, you know, which is really a good segue here to comment, like, and share. You know, because you could win that $50 gift card from Elizabeth Crafts, which is such a generous offer that they do every week, which is so amazing. It just shows how amazing this company is. I love the entire team. I wish I was in Banff. I don't know, is anyone online here today that enjoyed Banff? I was there the first year, but I didn't go the last 2 years, but I'm so tempted next year. I kind of had a little bit of FOMO happening while I was seeing all the posts with Els and David and Net, and Liz was there, and it just looked like everyone was having a blast. So maybe next year, but I am going to be joining Esther on her Norwegian cruise with my husband. I've always wanted to go to Norway, so I thought this would be a great little journey to be able to see Norway and determine how much more we would like to see of it going back on a separate trip. So what I've done here is I've taken the base card, which again, I can pull that out if anyone's questioning which one that is. As I go through the pile here, my apologies. Oh, there's so many, they're just so wonderful. Why isn't it jumping out at me? Oh, here it is, sorry. This one is number 3. Right, and then I've created, using again one of the dies, a pocket here, which just is like, it gives you the opportunity to put in all of these tags and photographs for in the future. I won't say much. I'm from Southern California. Oh, Karen, how wonderful is the weather there? Oh, I can only imagine. I remember being in California a few years ago and smelling the lemon trees walking down the street. It was just so wonderful. It was just like, oh, and it took me a while to realize what it was. And I was like, oh, it's the lemon trees, the citrusy smell. It was lovely. So anyway, like I said, I made a pocket here. And then one thing is I know it's a little bit challenging, and I'll try to do my best to explain this, but as I'm sure you've done with your own little creative designs and such, especially when you're doing a December day by day, is you don't want to glue everything down because December's not here yet, unless of course you're doing it the actual, you know, day of in December. So say December 1st, you sit down to do your December 1st tag right from start. If I did that, I would never get it done. If you can do that, more power to you. I'm envious that you have the time to do that. I wish I could. So what I've done here is, as you can see, if I use the sample, is like, this is still kind of flapping about in the wind, right? So that allows me to put a picture in there when the time comes. Likewise with these 2 tags, even though there's images on here, the back sides are plain. So I can either add a cardstock, like a brown cardstock, or whatever. You can put a picture here, you do your journaling here, you can add a picture here. This one, what I did, unlike this one, is I actually created an additional pocket right here underneath that you can see. So if you wanted to just tuck a picture in there, you could, as opposed to actually gluing it down. So it gives you a little bit of an option, and I kind of liked having the contrast at the base there. So all I did was basically I took the card, like this one here, which I'll do in a moment, and I folded it over and folded it back over. Really quite simple. So as I move along, I keep thinking about the different layers that I want to incorporate here. And I do love layers. You'll notice here, I've already got 3 layers. When this Card Lab collection was first released, if I recall correctly, there was a lot of dialogue about the thickness of this and it fitting into the actual box itself. And it is challenging when you start getting it much thicker, which is why you'll see all of my cards in here for December. Oh, I lied. This one is still actually stuck in here, but they're all loose. Like I can pull them out because I want that flexibility right now to just not have them in there and struggle with bringing them out, because when December comes, I have to access this quickly. Well, not quickly, but you know, I want to access it so I can actually put the photographs and my journaling of that day. Once I've done that, then I'm going to put them into the box and they're going to stay in the box. I do find there's a little bit of a trick, and you kind of just, I'm not sure if you can see this very well, but like just get your fingers down there and you kind of like pop those two little pieces, these two little pieces that stick out, just in onto the wood, and then it's in place. And I don't find it to be too much of a struggle to get them in and out. I don't recommend, nor do I think I'll ever have the need to be constantly pulling these in and out. That's really not really what the intention is once you start developing one of these big boxes, right? Hopefully you guys all have one of these because they're great. It's so much fun. There's so much you can do with it, whether it's just doing a form of art journaling or doing a photo album of memories. But yeah, great fun. So let's move on. I've got a couple little pieces here I just wanted to add. I know this is like a love or hate for some people in regards to whether you like to do the little bit of edging. I like to add it. Sometimes I forget. It's not a showstopper. But so I've got those there. This one, I wanted to do the bend on it, just to show you that quickly before we put this all together. And again, I just eyeballed it. I do that a lot. So hopefully it's not stressing anybody out watching me just eyeball this, because I'm just going to eyeball it. So we're just going to fold that piece up and then fold this piece back down and then give it a bit of a glue just in along the bottom here, there. And then while that glues, let me do the two sides, which will just create this small, tiny little pocket. I'll just hold that for a second. I probably should apologize for everybody here right now. My desk is going to get very messy through this video because that's unfortunately how I create. Okay, so we got that glued down. So I think we could start assembling this one. It was quite a simple card. I'm just going to finish this little accent piece. And sometimes, you know, I'm not sure, again, everyone's personality is a little bit different, and, you know, the A-type personalities versus, you know, people who are a little bit more less A-type. I ironically am an A-type personality, which is kind of funny. It probably comes from my architectural background. But I can also be very free in the designs, and sometimes I'll do things that, you know, people could look at it and go, why did you put that there? Like, that makes no sense. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, it works. There's one coming up, you may question that yourself. And I'm like, whatever, it's kind of fun. It doesn't have to have a reason why it's there. I just like it. It's fun. So, okay, let's just glue this one down. And again, I'm just eyeballing it. There's a little bit of freedom to go off of the edge, which I kind of like to do every now and then. Of course, you can't go too far off the edge, otherwise it's not going to fit into the Card Lab box. But just a little bit here and there. Certainly going up also adds a lot of nice creativity, right? Kind of like when you look at your box and you see all of these little, you know, fibers sticking out and ribbons or different types of, you know, I think I've got a couple here with the mouse, so you see the ears popping up. You know, it's fun, right? It gives it a little bit of some variety. So with this, I also, I didn't cut anything. I added some fibers here. And what I did with that is, this is just something I picked up along the way. It's a little bit wider than what I need. So I actually just kind of cut this one in half very carefully. Like so. It's a little crooked, I think. And then I stuck it. Oh, I also had a grommet there. Oops. Forgot my grommet. So let's do that quickly. Who still uses grommets? I love them. I love all these little metal accent pieces. And eyelets and such. I remember back in the day, I don't know if there's many people here online that have been doing this for a million years. Oh, I love it, Melinda, that you make a mess too. I don't know how I couldn't not make a mess, to be quite honest. I mean, it's just like, ooh, it's kind of fun. I might actually rely on you guys to say, hey, did you see where I put that? Because I've lost it in my pile and it's right in front of my eyes. And I'm probably one of the most dysfunctional people with these crocodile things. Oh, that worked. Yeah. But yeah, I remember back in the day being like, I don't know, I guess I first started paper crafting 20 years ago, maybe even longer. I hate to admit how long ago. It was like all the rage to have like the grommets and the eyelets and all that fun stuff. And they're getting a little bit harder to find now. At least I find they are. So anyway, we're just going to stick this in here. And again, this is just for, you know, adding some texture. To me, adds some interest. I could glue it, but what I like to use is the little tiny attacher, because again, it adds a little bit of interest. So I'm just going to quickly staple that in there. Grab this one, which is a little bit wider because I did not cut that very well. Sorry guys, let's squeeze this in here. And they're a little bit long. So I'm just gonna do, and there. So now again, you can put your photograph on here, unless you didn't want to cover these guys up, put it on the back, whatever you like. But this one's really simple, right? You just kind of, there you go. Now, the only thing that I haven't done with these is actually put the date of what day this is. Like everything that I have in here that I've been doing, I'm up to day 15, in case anyone was following online. The next little installment, if you will be coming soon. I'm trying to, like I said, get this done before December hits. So I just haven't decided what days these are, or if I'm actually going to continue to use them in the collection because it is a different paper pack. So that's the only thing I haven't done. But for something like that, you know, I could easily put like the day that this is going to be used for, like 16 could go fit in here. And with my personal collection, I'm consistent with how those days are reflected. So other people might like them to be all different, you know, day to day. You do you, right? There's no right and there's no wrong. So anyway, so there's that one. So that's the first card. How are we doing? Oh, we're doing pretty good for time. So card number 1. Okay, moving on. Let's move on to, I'm going to leave card number 3 because for some reason it's my favorite. But so here is card number 2. So again, all kinds of little pockets, just to add some interest and to give you that option to add more onto the card for that day. Oh, Belinda, I missed what you're saying here, that you've missed, that you sold something. I actually still have one of the little sets with the hammer, which I still do. And I think my neighbors kind of wonder, why is that girl always hammering? Because sometimes I find it easier, because I do have issues with that crocodile. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's probably just me. I can be very dysfunctional. What can I say? Okay, moving on. Okay, so here are all our pieces. So what I did with this guy is, and this is the one that's kind of like, well, why is he even there? And I'm like, why not? I could color him, but I haven't. But literally, he's stuck in there. He's not coming out. I just thought it was a little piece of interest. You know, when it's sitting in your box, he's kind of sticking out, which kind of gives some visual interest, I think. So, you know, you may not like that, but I thought I would give it a try. I think I had cut it out for a different use, and it's kind of been sitting in my little Esther box of goodies, which I think we all probably have. It's kind of getting a little bit low right now, but you know, you got your little Esther box, so here's a piece in there. I thought, I got to use it, so I grabbed it for this card, and then of course made a second one so I can show you what I'm doing with it. So again, I'm just going to do the edges very quickly here. And just bend this over so I can get inside. So is everyone ready for Halloween tonight? Like I said, the weather here is not the greatest. So it's going to be a little bit chilly for the little kitties today. It's just kind of unfortunate, but it seems to be calm in here in this area, in our neck of the woods of southern Ontario. I'm actually north of Toronto, so we're kind of getting into cottage country and the snow belt. So they're predicting a lot of snow for us this year, which kind of sucks. But then that's life, right? Not so lucky to live in California like some of you, which would be wonderful. It's one thing I do love about the States is the availability of being able to live where you want based on the climate. Where, like, say Canada, we don't have that option. Like, you know, yes, if you want the mountains and stuff, you head out west, just like, you know, Banff and such, and you get that Banff weather. But like, there's nowhere in Canada that has a palm tree. So if you wanted that tropical weather, you don't have that option. Whereas in the States, you could, you know, live in Colorado, such as many folks here do, and have that winter weather that's just beautiful as well. Or you could head down to like California or Florida and have that tropical weather, or without, you know, staying on mainland as opposed to, you know, Hawaii or something like that. We don't have that option here. We have like cold, hot summers and then cold winters. That's it. Just one extreme to the other. So what I did with this little guy was, like I said, I don't know if you noticed that, but I've left this top piece open as well. So it allows for a card to go in the back. You can glue that down and just have these 2 slots for inserting cards. But what I did with this guy is I actually just kind of stuck him down inside. So I'm actually gonna, maybe I could put that down and then just kind of have it sticking out a little bit like that. Right, so now this will, once I glue it down, it still allows me to put a card in behind, because I'm only going to be gluing it to the surface here, nowhere else, right? So I can put a card in behind, I can still put a card in front. I don't recommend, but it could be done. You could squeeze another card in here, but it would have to be a little bit more narrow. Well, this one actually does work, just because the way that this is coming out or over, so it kind of like, it's decreased the width of that opening, right? So that was my idea here, was just to, I'm just going to glue him down. Oh, I didn't do the edging on him. No, I think I'm going to leave him plain. Kind of looks weird if he had brown edged feathers. So just glue him in there. Oops. Let me just glue this one down slightly. And there. So again, remember, if anyone's joined a little bit late, to like, comment, and share for your chance to win that $50 gift card that will be announced, I believe, on Monday. It's kind of exciting. Okay, so for this one, because of the depth here, I actually decreased its overall size. So here, this was in the paper pack. It was on one of the pages that has a lot of the different sort of ephemera, right? If you cut it all up. So that's all that this piece is here from that paper pack. So I'm just going to do a little bit of etching. And I think I also crumbs, I think I'm missing it. I trimmed the edges off to make it a little bit rounded, but my corner rounder is now escaping me, which is probably not a good thing. Oh, I know, I've got this here. I'll use my other little guy. Sorry, which one's which? There we go. Okay. And this one, I think, yeah, I did. I actually left it as a pocket as well. So you have the 2 options there. You can create a pocket, or, oops, oh, that's probably not good. A little extra glue. Oh, there we're good. Or no pocket. Because again, if you add a little bit more pockets, these little hidden pockets, you can add more of your memories for that day in December. Then for some contrast, let me just trim this guy back down. There, trim its edges. So here, basically, all I did was just because, I mean, this looks great on its own, but what I thought I'd do is I just added one of these little tabs that you can slip a photo underneath it, just for some interest, right? So I think I just did my tiny attacher here. And then I grab this one for my tiny attacher right here. Now I haven't done anything to the edging of these, but I'm going to on this one. This is probably one of my most favorite papers. I love everything with a font. I think, hint, hint to L's there. I think a special edition paper pack would be amazing to do a collection of whatever, 10, 15 pages, 12 pages of just all kinds of fonts like this. Just because it's a great background paper. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I just find I gravitate to that immediately for background papers. They're just to me, what's the word I want? Just something like a standard, like picking up a black page or a white page or the cardstock, like the cardboard type cardstock. So there. So then I just stuck that in there. And again, if I had an extra one, again, this one goes with that, and I wouldn't put these two back to back, but I could easily stick another card in there. Probably make it a little bit smaller. But there you go. That is card number 2. Oh, you like the font paper idea, right, Anne? I think it would be amazing. I suggested it to Els, I think or to Esther. And maybe I'm going to get into trouble because I'm mentioning it now live here. But I think it would. I think it'd be a great paper pack. You know, it's like one of those standard paper packs to have in your collection, because I know I would be buying a lot of them, because they do. I really think they're a great paper to have on hand. So I'll take stock in that, Els, if you decide to release it. And I'll 20%. That's all I need. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, card number 3. How are we doing? Oh, I'm kind of whizzing through this, aren't I? Sorry. Okay, so this one I did a little bit of homework on it, as you can see why. So this one I added a button. So I've had this like bag of buttons for, I don't know, 20 some odd years. And I was cleaning out the basement this past weekend. Because I don't know if you've all got the same thing, where you got like underneath the stairs. I've got boxes since we've moved into this house and they've never been touched. And so it's like, we got to downsize and get rid of stuff, right? So I came across some of my old collection of scrapbooking supplies that I haven't really touched in 15 years. And this was in there. And I thought, the green kind of worked with this card. Now I did use 2 different buttons because they're all like one-offs. But again, this is sort of one of those things like just use what you've got, right? Whatever you have in your stash. So that was kind of a nice little surprise that I came across this past weekend cleaning up. So what I've done with this one is, this is the Christmas tree that I mentioned earlier. And as you can see on this card here, I did a little bit of distressing. So I'm going to do that. So how many people are doing a December day by day this year? Is it your style to do one? I know I've seen a lot of chatter online of, if there's kits coming out for this year, or if there's some prompts, for each of the days in December that you have a focus for that day, like December 1st could be Christmas tree or, snowfall or whatever it may be, right? So what are everyone's thoughts on doing a day by day? Is it your cup of tea or not so much? And if it's not so much, is it just because it's just too time consuming? Whereas others, will do a full album because they have that time. Just kind of interested in what your thoughts are for the December day by day. Okay, we just had to shorten that piece down a little bit. So my thought was I just kind of stuck that off to the side. Again, just giving a little bit of a visual at the top corner here. As you can see, sorry, I got some notes here. And then the button. So what I did, because I did a little bit of homework here, again, 2 very different buttons, and the way that the threading goes through it is different for both. So I kind of struggled with how I was going to get this to work on the page, in part because I don't deal with buttons every single day. But it's also the thickness and the weight of the button. So what I did for both of them, again, this one's already been fastened, is I cheated a little bit because this string is actually like an elastic. You can sort of see it bends, but the coloring is great. It works well with the greens in this collection. And there's only like a single hole that kind of goes right through the back. So this going through twice would not fit. I tried even with the needle and it just was not going to happen. So I cheated a little bit. I stuck the thread through this elastic and then folded it back up, as you can see here. So I've got this like dangling sort of effect here. And then I think I need to trim off the top piece. I do like it sticking out at the top. And then what I'm going to do to place it here, because again, there's just so much thickness with the thread elastic, whatever we want to call that, at the back. So what I used were some pop dots, as well as some glue to make sure that stays fastened. So let me just grab a couple of these pop dots and throw them on. Probably do a couple extra. This one's a little bit thicker than this one. This one is quite nice and flat, where this button has a concave to it. So it's going to make it a little bit more challenging. I guess I didn't think that one through. Sorry there if my head got in the way. So let's just, whoops. Get those off. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so then I'm just gonna really load this up with some glue and hope for the best. So it's going to fit. Oh, you know what I just realized? Oopsie. My bad. I forgot to put this guy down. So I created this little tab here, sort of like a banner. No peeking, no peeking. I'm just going to do some edging here. Dun, 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 dun. And I think I also used the tiny attacher just to plop that in along the edge. Yeah, you could easily just glue or tape this down. I actually do both I do glue and then the tiny attacher. So, okay, we've got that down. Now we can put this one down. Oh, I am just having issues today, aren't I? Okay. Oops, sorry guys. Just popped my head again. That looks good. All right. Put a little bit of pressure on that. Ooh. Work the muscles a little bit. Who knew that crafting could be a workout too, right? There we go. Okay, and then this piece I just had in underneath. So I'm not going to go too far up with the glue because I do want it to overhang on the top. There's that. So this is where I ended up just kind of gluing this little tab down here because it was just flying out in the wind a little bit too much. But you could easily let it keep flapping around. Now this, again, like I mentioned when we first started about thinking ahead in terms of what this is going to be for, and of course doing it in advance of December itself, it becomes a challenge as to how much do you glue down, where do you glue it down. So it is worth giving it a little bit of thought before you just kind of dig in there and just start slapping glue or tape on everything. And this is one of those pieces that really kind of needed that little bit of extra attention, because adding a photo after is going to be a bit challenging. Luckily, within the collection, it has a die cut that fits perfectly, which is this one here, this little round one right underneath, that you could use to die cut your photograph and then slip it in underneath. So what I did here was I just, at the top where there's a line that allows this to bend, this is the only area that I've actually attached permanently. This way, when December comes, I'll be able to come back to this with that die cut, oops, and stick my photograph underneath with very little issue. I'll likely have to trim the photograph and create like a slight straight line here, which you're not going to see because it's going to be hidden up underneath. But you can get that, this glue's not sticking there, but you can get it up underneath, right? Hopefully you can see what I'm referring to here. Maybe I'll just lift it up and turn it around. So again, this line here allows you to lift this up. When it's complete, meaning when I actually have the photograph or whatever it is I intend to place in under here, which will likely be a photograph, it will go underneath this piece, right? And then I'll glue this down, and then you'll just have this little peekaboo window. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not sure if you've used this die set often in the past or not, but it's a great little one. Now what I did here is I've actually done a double layering using the two different dies. I like to have that contrast in the edging, but I don't glue it all the way down so that I prevent being able to use it as a pocket. So just do a little bit of touch up along the edge here. We'll do that to both of them. There we go. So this one's going to go on the bottom. Actually, I'm going to do this one first. Sorry, guys. I am going to just do a hint of glue along the edge right here first. And then just kind of place it just so that you don't see those holes that are intended for it to be placed into the card lab box, right? The holes that I'm referring to are like these, but up in this one here, here, and here, right? So they're not peeking through, that you can see them on this side. Now that that's attached, I'll just do the edging here, along the bottom, keep going along, and there we go. Move that guy out of the way. Put that into position. That also helps prevent the thickness down in this area. So I'm still going to have 3 layers, but if I had that come all the way down, I would have had 4 layers, which probably would really be pushing the envelope for it to come in and out of the card lab box without causing any damage, which we don't want to do to all the hard work that we've done. Okay, one more. There. Okay, and then I had created 2 very tiny little tabs that we can now use. Using that same fabric that I had before, ribbon, again, just to give it some contrast. You could use anything here or nothing. It's totally up to you. Like my little tiny attacher. There. And then they can just stick inside wherever you like. This one's a little bit small. It's a little bit tight to fit in there. I'll just stick it in there. And there you go. The last card. So those are the 3 cards for today. Hopefully that gives you some ideas for your December day by day, and or convince you to do a December day by day. And if not, I hope you still had some fun watching. But that's it for me today. Thank you everyone for joining. Again, I can't say it enough. Like, comment, share, so that you have a chance to win that $50 gift card from Elizabeth Craft. It's a very generous offer every week. So yeah, hopefully you had an enjoyable hour here with me. And thank you for joining me. It was my first live. I would love to actually get your feedback in terms of what went well, what didn't go well for you. Do I talk too fast? Do I not talk fast enough? Would you have liked to see more details of actually, I didn't really want to have to die cut everything in front of everybody, but if that's what people like to see, it'd be really great to get that feedback. I've got thick skin, so I can handle it. I really appreciate this creative community. So I do love that feedback. But thank you, everyone. Have yourself a wonderful rest of the afternoon. Have fun trick-or-treating. Hopefully, like I said, the weather's in your area is much nicer than here. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Petra. Thank you, Jackie. I really appreciate you guys joining. Thank you, Carol. And of course, thanks always to Elizabeth Craft for having me here. I really appreciate it. Barbara, thank you. Carol, again, thank you. You guys are such a sweet group, such a great creative tribe here. So I love it. Brenda, thank you. Kathy, thank you. Well, I'll be in touch with you soon, Kathy, about our card lab team here that we have going off on the side. So awesome. So thank you, everyone. Hearts. I really appreciate your attention here. Belinda, thanks. I know I've got to really figure out the view here. In my testing, it was normal, and I don't know why this just happened going live. I don't know, maybe that's just my luck, but I am going to work on that, and I do apologize. So again, thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, good to sign off now. Bye.